I feel like I'm doing a lot of excessive adjusting to that camera for no reason. um, but happy Monday. It's Monday, someday in May. What is it, May 20th? Yeah. Um, how y'all doing? It's crack-a-lackin'. What's shaking, bacon? So, mental health. I don't know. Where do I start with this? I don't even remember when I started going to therapy. I really don't. I want to say it was sometime this year, like I don't even know. February? No, it was before that. Oh wow, was it last year? Maybe December, November? I don't even remember. I started going to therapy kind of as an argument. Mark and I were talking about the fact that I hadn't started going to therapy for myself, and he had started going to therapy for his grief after he lost his grandmother. And I had always said I wanted to go to grief counseling and grief therapy after James passed away, but I never did. I tried a couple times to call my insurance provider and set up, the therapy sessions, but they were like, we're backlogged and we're kind of booked. It takes a while. It takes at least 3-4 weeks to get you an appointment, yada yada, or to start you on a regimen of appointments. And they're like, we're going to do your intake and have a medical health nurse just talk to you and make sure you're not like suicidal or anything. And I was like, okay, sure. So they do like this little assessment thing, and then based on the assessment they decide what kind of therapy you need. You need grief therapy, depression therapy, do you need whatever you need, right? And so after they did my little analysis, I thought that I was just grieving. I thought that I was just grieving the loss of James and the loss of Mark's grandmother. I thought I'm still grieving the loss of my father. I feel like that'll be something I'm going to have to deal with for life, that my father is not on this planet. And so I was just like, I'm just dealing with the grief. My dad died 2 weeks after Lena was born, so that was 6 years ago. And that was kind of like the beginning of like a new era of grief in my life that kind of took me somewhere different. I experienced a lot of death growing up. A lot of my cousins, when I became a teenager and in my early 20s, a lot of my second and third, my older cousins, my first and second cousins were like in their 30s and 40s. And my grandmother had a lot of siblings, so I had a lot of great aunts, great uncles, and they all started passing away. So death has not been new to me. I'm used to people dying, as morbid as that sounds. But it was something about these three specifically, about my father, about James, and about Mark's grandmother. And recently my cousin Erica passed away. That was a tough one too, because Erica sang at Robert and mine's wedding. She was super important to Lena, so losing Erica was really tough too. And she just passed the day of Super Bowl this year. What was that? February 2nd, February 3rd, somewhere in there. So it was tough. It's like you have back-to-back death. James passed in July. Mark's grandmother passed in September of 2018. And then in February 2019, we had Erica. So those three were really, really, really huge in my life. And I went to this place of just dark. Like, I wasn't hopeless. I wasn't suicidal. But I just felt like I just wanted to sleep. Like, I didn't want to be awake, because being awake, I had to live and I had to deal. And I had to be an adult. And I had to be a mom. And I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I just wanted to sleep. I always want Lena around, and I would, it's like I would be okay when Lena was home. Put it that way. While Lena was at school, I was sleeping in. I didn't have a job at the time, so I was, sitting at the house, drinking, not doing anything or not eating, not getting up, not getting dressed, staying in pajamas all day. I was in this funk. But I would pull it together whenever anybody else was around. I would pull it together for Mark because of his. I was more invested in helping Mark get over his grief and make sure that he got to his therapy on time and he did everything he was supposed to do on time, than seeing about myself. And it's easier to deal with someone else's shit than to deal with your shit. And so I was like, it was easy to throw myself into everyone else's stuff. And I wasn't really seeing about myself. And Mark kind of brought it to my attention that I was giving, doing, and I wasn't seeing about myself. And he said to me, I bet that you probably never even called your therapist, that you just said that. And I was like, no, honest to God, I called. And I did, but they were backlogged. And it was kind of like when you call, you know how you make that midnight call, that cry out to God kind of scenario, that come to Jesus moment, and it takes so much of your energy to even reach out that one time, that when it doesn't come through that one time, you never do it again. Because it took so much out of you. It took so much out of me just to make those phone calls and to sit there and answer all those intake questions. Are you suicidal? Do you feel like you're a danger to yourself? Are you eating? Are you showering? Just to answer those questions was so, I don't want to say humiliating, but it was just so exposing to me. I felt so out there, on Front Street. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like being pried at, and being observed. I didn't like it. And so when they told me they were all booked and didn't have no more appointments, I said, great, I ain't got to do this shit. And I hung up the phone. And I never called back. But Mark was like, he basically made me a bet. Like, I bet that if you call, you won't get through. And I mean, I bet if you call, you'll get an appointment. And you was just lying to me. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear the street traffic. Hopefully you can't hear it so much. But he was like, you lying, you never called. I bet if you call right now, they'll say that they have an appointment available. And I was like, Mark, I promise you, I called. They said they were backlogged 4 weeks ago. And he was like, he was like, they said they were backlogged for 4 weeks and it's been like 2 months. You never called back? And I was like, fine, I'll call back. Shit, I just felt irritated. I literally called because I was agitated. Just to prove a point to Mark, not really to solve anything. And when I called back, they looked and they said, you've been waiting to be seen for a while. We'll get you an appointment this week. And I instantly felt like, ew, do I want to see a therapist? Are they going to judge me? Am I going to feel anything? Is this gonna resolve anything? Mental health is so important, to me, but in my life, I've always done it in a spiritual sense. Like, I've always leaned towards prayer. I've always leaned towards my meditations, like I did this morning. I've never seen professional medical health in regards to mental health. I've never seen medical health in regards to that. And so I was like, I don't know if they're gonna get it, if they're gonna understand that I'm a Christian, that I'm a, even I believe in science and I believe in God. I believe in both. So I believe that doctors and medicine is important. And I do think that there wouldn't be all these doctors with all this intelligence if God didn't put it in their brain to do so. So I do feel like there's value in both. I hate that there's a stigma in the black community that you can just pray about it and that'll get rid of all mental illness. There's no such damn thing. Some people really need medical help. Some people really need medication. Some people really need therapy and guidance. It's not just pray about it when it comes to schizophrenia, or just pray about it when it comes to, separation anxiety, any type of anxiety or depression or eating disorder. It's not always possible for people to just pray all of that away. Some people really need medical attention. So I do value, Western medicine as well as my spiritual guided direction of being healthy and being mentally sound. So I really was concerned that I was going to get in there and tell them that I like to pray, or tell them that I believe in God, and they would tell me that was stupid and they wouldn't respect my faith. And so I had all these things going on in my head of what was going to happen, and I was like, this is just grief counseling. You'll go until you learn how to deal with your grief, and then you'll be done with it. And everything I thought, I was wrong. I went in, sweetest, most beautiful spirit of a woman. I love her. Her name is Lynn, and that's all I'm gonna tell you about her, because I don't want, For safety reasons, I'm just going to call her Lynn. I'm not going to really go into where she practices or her, whatever. But she's accredited. She has a degree. She's a form of a therapist. And yeah, she was assigned to me. And she took over my therapy sessions. And from the moment I sat down, she was listening to me talk and typing her little notes on her laptop. And then she looked up at me and she said, you're a very bright person. You have a lot of good resolution and resolve in your mind as to why you feel the way you feel and why you think the way you think. But one thing I find really particularly interesting about you is you are really unaware of how depressed you are. You can see everyone else's depression. You can see everyone else's anxiety. You can see everyone else's grief. And you somehow feel like theirs is more pivotal, like theirs needs more help than yours does. And that's a lie that you tell yourself. You are just as depressed. And that blew my mind. I was like, what the? Like, this lady don't know me. But she did. And in working with Lynn, I've been going to therapy, I don't know how many months now. But what she does show me is that I have the ability to mentally change my narrative in my mind. I don't have to have negative thoughts. I don't have to have hopelessness. I don't have to be pessimistic. I don't have to doubt myself. I don't have to be insecure. I don't have to say yes to every damn thing. That's the biggest thing that we have discovered about me. I am a yes person. I'm a fixer. She likes to call me a fix-it personality or a martyr personality. And I'm just kind of the person like, it's okay. I'm only bleeding. It's fine. Everyone's okay. I'm okay. Like that's exactly my personality. Like, it's fine. My arm's just broken, but we can totally go to the mall if you need to go to the mall. That's me. I can be dying inside. I can be tired. I can be exhausted. I can be sad as all hell. I can be emotionally distraught. I can be insecure. I can be loathing. I can be struggling with 10,000 things on my plate. And I still smile. And I laugh. And I build others up. And I pour into others. And she said that fix-it personality is killing you. And my goal as your therapist is to get you to see why you don't need to be the fix-it. And I didn't understand how much my upbringing affected my current mental status. I did, but I didn't at the same time. And she was listening to me talk, and she was listening to me tell her all these stories. And I have some pretty heavy stuff that happened to me in my childhood. I had a mixed childhood. We weren't impoverished, horrible, like terrible, but we weren't rich, affluent either. We were kind of in the middle. And as much as we tried to be middle class and much as we tried to be like median household with a median income, we had these dips that would happen. Like we would be middle and then a dip. We'd be fine living in a suburban neighborhood, but the lights wouldn't be on in the house. Like we'd be all right going to a good school, but we would have to take grape jelly sandwiches for lunch every day and eat hot dogs for dinner every night. It was like we were just on the middle. And on the surface, on the outside, it was fine and it was okay. But within my household, sometimes we struggled. And then when my mom remarried, we really struggled. And it wasn't even financially, it was emotionally and in a communicative way, because she just changed into someone that my sister and I just could not relate to. We didn't understand who she was trying to be for the sake of her marriage. And my childhood was really affected by that. Not only that, I'm a 6-foot-something person, 200-something, 300-something pounds, and I'm light-skinned, I'm different. We're in a predominantly like mixed, multicultural, borderline all-white neighborhood. Like there was white people and there was, Pacific Islander, Asian, there was, some kinds of Latina, different types of people, Puerto Rican, but black was kind of still the minuscule number when we moved to this middle-class neighborhood that we had lived in. My mom moved us from Inglewood to the suburbs when I was 9. Yeah, and Andrea was 7, my sister. So we went from being around all black people, all Latina people, to this multicultural, majority white existence. And my body type was not represented there. So because it wasn't represented there, I got made fun of. I was fat, I was big bird, I was high yellow, I was an ogre, I was, anything under the sun. And on top of being made fun of as a kid, having my life at home fall apart when my mom remarries this guy, my mom ends up having my brother. My brother gets born when I'm 13 or 14 years old. So I become kind of like a part-time parent. I'm taking care of the household. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. My mom's going to work, operating like a single mother because she's in a shitty-ass marriage. I'm trying to get, I'm pulling all these different roles and trying to play all these different roles while still trying to deal with my own insecurity, being made fun of and talked about at school. I finally developed the confidence to just say, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna be me. And I thought that just being me and just growing beyond those things, that I had left all that in the past, Going to therapy showed me that it was right in my face. I never left a damn thing. It was right there. And it was evident in my need to be liked, my need to be needed, my need to be wanted. So much so that it had developed into anxiety, where I would be nervous if I did the wrong thing, nervous if I didn't have everyone's approval, if someone didn't like me, or if someone didn't praise me for something that I did, I would assume they hated me. If someone sent a text just saying okay, I think they're angry because they didn't elaborate or because they didn't smile or use an emoji. This anxiety starts taking over everything. And the anxiety from wanting to be something or wanting the approval, coupled with the depression from just feeling like I'm not good enough, it created this whole thunderstorm of shit in my brain that I didn't even know existed. And she said the death that you're experiencing, losing someone so close to you, losing James specifically, it's just triggering what was already there. This is not grief. This is your mental health that you never dealt with. And the grief is just bringing all of it out. And I sat there and I was like, well, damn. Who knew, I thought that I was persevering. I thought that I was, rising above. And she was like, you are. But you're ignoring that it even exists in the first place. And that's where your issue comes from, because you're trying to be okay doing everything but handling your anxiety, handling your depression. Those are key pivotal things that need to be addressed in life in order for you to be better. And I looked at her and I just was like, well, damn. I so many sessions with her, I've cried and I've not understood, but she makes such clear, evident points. And if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen I post my therapy notes a lot. I post some of the notes that she gives to me, and some of the little reminders and literature she gives me to read about creating boundaries and understanding my mental health and understanding what triggers my anxiety and how to avoid those triggers. And coming into mental health and just learning all I've been learning has really shown me how damn it important it is. And I really want to make this video just to tell you guys, there's nothing wrong with seeking therapy and caring about your mental health. I know as a black woman in the black community, if you go to see a therapist, all of a sudden you're a damn psycho. They act like you're just weak. You're not put together, or you're fragile because you need a therapist to talk to. You're not tough enough. And I'm here to just tell you that is wrong as shit. Everyone needs someone to bounce things off of. Even if you're not depressed, even if you feel like you're fine. I felt like I was fine. I felt like I was fine, and this is just the life I live, and this is just the shit I got to deal with. And when I come out of it, I'm stronger for it. I thought that this was part of my stock as a woman, that this was part of what built me and what made me. And she was like, you are dead ass wrong. Yes, you are strong. Yes, you are capable. But that doesn't mean you have to go through every damn thing all the damn time. You should be able to tell someone, no, I'm not going to put myself on the line for you. No, I don't want to go today. No, I don't want to deal with that right now. No, I don't want to go where you want me to go. And you should not feel any ounce of guilt for it whatsoever. You shouldn't feel like people hate you because you said no. You shouldn't feel like you're not the good daughter because you didn't say yes. You shouldn't feel like you're less loved because you don't have the money to take your grandmother out for a meal, but your sister does. You shouldn't feel that way. That is where your mental is steering you wrong. There's something wrong there. And it opened me up to a space that I had never experienced before, that I didn't know, I wasn't aware. Not only was I diagnosed with depression, I was diagnosed with something called generalized anxiety disorder. It's a form of depression, or it's kind of in the same umbrella as depression and anxiety in a general sense. People with generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, freak out about everything in layman's terms. So much so, the anxiety will cause you to have irritability, sleeplessness, restlessness, digestive issues. Sometimes I have trouble eating or digesting what I have eaten, hair loss, hello, stress, rigidness, feeling stuck in a feeling for days on end. Sometimes really people who really experience it badly, they get sweats, palpitations, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. Have I had an anxiety attack? Yes, I have. It's not a good feeling. Especially because I have asthma, so it's even harder to breathe all damn it ready. My life just be struggling. But I didn't know. I thought, when my hair would shed and fall out, I would just think it's my fault because I'm not taking care of myself. Here we go, something else is happening because I'm not eating right. I need to drink enough water. And just that thought process is the anxiety kicking in, telling me that I did something else wrong, that I'm less than. And I hate that. I hate it. I sometimes hate my thinking. I hate my brain because it takes a lot of work for me to calm down sometimes. I can sit and stress over something for days on end. It could be something as simple as a discussion I had with someone, and you know how sometimes you have a fight or a disagreement with somebody and you think about all the shit you should have said, like, what I should have said, but you think about it days later. I will fixate on that to the point where I have sometimes even messaged somebody and started the whole argument over again just to get my points back in that I didn't get in the first time. That I have done that. I'm not proud of that, but I have done that. It's this blanket, an umbrella of anxiety hanging over everything. If Lena goes to school and her hair's not combed, people are going to think I'm a bad parent, that I'm a piece of shit, that I'm not a good mother. If I don't have the money to take Lena to, Disneyland or to a park or whatever, then I'm shitty because I should have saved for that. If I can't make a dinner that Mark likes every fucking night, then I'm a terrible ass girlfriend. I'm not even a decent homemaker because he doesn't even like what I made. If I spend 3 hours making something, I'm like, I pray to God that it's right. And then if he don't smile or instantly go, when he eat it, then it must be trash. Then I didn't do the right thing. Then I'm terrible. If I don't make adequate time to be a good mother 1,000% of the time and a good girlfriend 1,000% of the time, and somehow divide my time between having intimate moments with Mark but then still respecting my motherhood and not doing that around Lena, and I want to make sure that everybody's happy and I want to make sure that everybody's satisfied. If I don't, I'm a terrible fucking human being. That's what anxiety feels like. It feels like everything you're thinking of doing, currently doing, about to go do, or just finished doing was fucking wrong. Not only was it wrong, you're dumb because you didn't think of the right way to do it. I have anxiety about myself. My internal dialogue is so hard on me that I have to actively work to not beat myself up. I will beat myself down into the ground because my standards are super high. My standards of myself are higher than anyone else. And I will sit there and say, it's okay. I can take it. They can't. You know, I can deal with disappointment. I can deal with having to start over. I can deal with, you know, all the bills being due and I have to pay them all, or, you know, whatever. I can work while I'm sick. I'll go to work with the flu. I don't need to rest. I'm okay. I can figure it out, you know. I can, you know, whatever it is, I can do it. But let Mark rest. He can't go to work with a runny nose. Or let my sister rest. She can't do this because of that. Or let my mother rest. She can't deal with that. But I can. I can function off of 2 hours of sleep every day. I can get up and haul ass and make it happen. You know? It's okay if other people can't. I can fix it. And that mentality and that narrative is wrong. I had gotten to a place where I had beaten myself down and I had said yes so much that I started to hate myself. Why do I keep telling people I want to do shit that I don't want to do? Why do I keep agreeing to go places that I don't want to go? Why do I keep subjecting myself to shit that I shouldn't have to endure for the sake of what? Being liked? Having my family like me, having my friends like me, having my coworkers like me, having my boyfriend like me, having whoever I'm trying to impress think that I'm a good mother, or having YouTube think that I'm a put together woman. I can't tell you how many times I used to have anxiety over editing and I didn't even realize it, because there were people back in the day. I made a video about the day in the life of me as like a new mom. Lena was barely 4, 5, 6 months. Do you know there was motherfuckers in my comments talking about you should do your hair? I'm just learning how to be a mother. I'm barely remembering which titty I fed off of the last time so I could do the next one. This is brand ass new for me. I'm a new wife, new mother, trying to figure it all out. And do you know that I sat there and I cried? Because I thought, people think that I'm a slob. People think that I'm not a good mother. People think that I'm not a good woman, or that I'm not put together because I didn't comb my hair before I turned on the camera. But it was dumb because already in my head, I was like, I told people, I'm going to give y'all a real life insight as to what it's like in a day in the life as a stay-at-home mom. The day in the life as a stay-at-home mom, I don't get up at 5 a.m. and do a damn press and curl. And blow dry and blow and do a blowout and bump my hair and make sure it's curled with makeup on before I come on camera. If I'm doing a day in the life of a stay-at-home mom, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to make bottles. I ain't looking in no mirror to see what the fuck my hair look like. But I didn't have the snapback to defend myself. I sat there and I judged myself and I became anxious. And I was like, I don't want to upload nothing if I'm not ugly. I want to make sure if my hair was not the exact way, I would edit whole segments out. Y'all wouldn't see shit. I'd be like, nope, I don't want no more comments about my hair. I don't want nobody saying this and that. I used to beat myself down. My anxiety became this burden on me. I don't know why I didn't figure it out before James died, because I've been doing it my whole life since I was a kid. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be needed. I wanted to be wanted. I wanted to feel sexy. I wanted to be beautiful. I wanted to be the good daughter. I wanted to be the smart child. I wanted to be the child my mom would brag to her friends about and say, well, look, Tiffany has this career, and Tiffany finished college, and Tiffany did this. And I never felt that I was good enough. I never felt that sense of pride in myself. And it was just this narrative. The anxiety, the depression, it stresses you out and it tells you things. I really believe that people just did not like me. I really didn't believe that I was good enough. I really didn't think that I was making my mom proud. Some days I still don't. It's a constant battle every day to reverse my thoughts, to reverse the narrative and tell myself, no. That is your anxiety speaking. Don't listen to that. Lean on God. Lean on the people who love you. Look yourself in the mirror and look at all the things you have accomplished. And understand that you are not perfect and you never will be. But you're far from trash. You're not worthless. The first thing that my therapist recommended to me to do was to go see a psychiatrist to make sure that my levels were normal. And I did, and I had all the blood work done, and I had everything come back, and that was how I found out that my thyroid was enlarged and all that good jazz. We've talked about that in previous videos. If you haven't seen my What the Hell Happened videos, I'll link them below to tell you why I was gone off of YouTube so long and where I went and what happened. And majority of my levels came back normal with the exception of my thyroid. And the psychiatrist said to me, I'm going to give you a prescription for Zoloft. It's a depression medication. It helps with depression and anxiety. A lot of people start to feel by the second or third week that they're able to manage things easier without the anxiousness of doing things. And I went back to my therapist and I said, you know, the first thing out of this person's mouth was that I needed a Zoloft prescription. Help me understand that, because as far as you've told me, I don't need medication. And she said, you don't. Do you want to take it? I said, hell fuck no. Why would I want to do that? She said, then don't. She said, it's going to be harder for you to learn how to combat your own thinking. But if you don't want the medication to do it for you, you're going to have to actively work on doing it yourself. Can you do that? And I said, yeah. And that's where I am. I have chosen to lean on my faith, lean on my meditation, maintain going to therapy, keeping up with my therapist, taking self-care days, taking self-care moments. I can't even tell you how many times. It feels good though, I'm not gonna lie. There was a situation a couple days ago, Mother's Day. My sister messaged me and it was a group text between me, her, and my mom. And my mom was like, I want to do something with y'all for Mother's Day. And I said, I'm so sorry, you guys. I had planned months ago to have a Mother's Day outing with my friends. We're going to go get mani-pedis. We're going to go have lunch. My sister instantly was like, oh, so your friends is more important than us? Oh, so you don't want to spend time with us? Oh, so blah, 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 blah. And I didn't even hear really what she said. In my head, I heard, Tiffany, you're a shitty piece of shit and you're a bad person because you don't want to see your family and you don't want to see your sister and your mother on Mother's Day. I flipped. That was what I read when I looked at the phone. And I took a breath because I felt it. I felt my anxiety about to just make me say yes to something I didn't want to do. And I was like, I want that feeling of being liked and being needed and being wanted so bad that sometimes I'll forego plans that I've had for months, and I'll do things that other people want me to do because I feel like I just want them to be happy and I want people to shut up. I don't want no argument. I don't want, I do that. And I thought about what it would feel like to sit there and have breakfast with them, knowing that I ditched my friends and knowing that we planned this for months and knowing that this is something that I've been looking forward to. I miss my mani-pedis. I haven't been able to get them as consistently because I'm not working the career that I had before. And so my money's kind of tight. It's really pretty much just bills and food and clothing. and, you know, house essentials rather than it is taking care of myself. And so I was like, you know what? I took a deep breath. I just kind of held myself, and then I sent the text message and I said, I love you guys, and I would love to spend some time with you. Unfortunately, from blah time to blah time, I am unavailable because I'm doing something that I want to do for myself on Mother's Day. Because I'm a mother too, and this is what I want to do. If you guys would like to do something outside of that time frame, or even on Saturday night, or, you know, another time, a part of Sunday, I'd be more than available and I'd be willing to spend time with you. It's not that I don't want to see you guys. It's not that I don't care or don't value my family. I just also want to do something for myself, as I am a mother and it is my damn day too. And I typed it, set my phone down, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to argue with me. They're going to fight me. They're going to come back and say that I'm terrible. They're going to tell me this. They're going to tell me that. My mind just went rampant with shit. And then my sister responded back to me and said, okay, we'll pick something to do out of that time frame. We'll pick something to do Saturday night. And I just felt like this wave of like release of the energy. The anxiety makes you feel like you're gonna throw up or just shart your pants. It legit makes you feel that way. You feel sick. You feel like this bubbling up of stuff in your like esophagus, like this feeling of just like, I'm gonna throw up. I don't want people not to like me. You know? I don't want to be seen as I don't want to be seen as the bad daughter who doesn't give a shit about spending time with her mother and grandmother for Mother's Day. I don't want to be seen as selfish. And those little steps of just breathing and understanding and telling myself, people don't hate you, Tiffany. It's not gonna be World War III. And even if it is damn World War III, so fucking what? You have to love yourself and care for yourself first, otherwise you're no good to anyone. And that's what I have to tell myself, and then I have to take a deep breath. I'm literally doing it right now because I'm thinking about it. And I have to respond in a way that is respectful of my own self-care. I can no longer be the yes person. I can no longer be the fix it person. It's literally physically harming me and causing me stress, and it does not help me. My therapist literally told me when she first met me, she said, I'm gonna give you 2 pieces of paper. I'm gonna split it down the middle, and I want you to write the pros and cons of being a fixer on one piece of paper, and the pros and cons of just being your own damn self on one piece of paper. And what she did was, I wrote down a bunch of stuff in each column. Pros and cons of being a fixer, pros and cons of being myself. And she gave each thing that I wrote a point value. And she said, we're just gonna make them all 10 points. And she did it like a math equation. And she said, okay, you have 30 things on this side, 30 points worth of shit on this side, and you have 80 points of shit on this side. 80 divided by 30 is not a good percentage. And you have a percentage of these little tiny things that you think are going to be worth it being a fixer only come up to that 30 points. But look at all the things you've listed in the freedom of just being yourself. The percentage of what it costs you to be a fixer versus what it costs you to be yourself is unbalanced. She said, now I could see if being a fixer was equally balanced with being yourself, then there'd be some give and take there and some push and pull. But there isn't any. You're imbalanced. You're doing all this shit for other people and you're not seeing about you. Your self-value is just depleting. You're imbalanced. Is it really still worth it after looking at it on paper and after doing the math? Is it really still worth it to be a fixer just for the little itty bits of moments where you feel needed or wanted or appreciated? Is it worth it? And I looked at that paper and I instantly felt stupid. She said, I'm going to do you one further. I want you to actually be selfish. You have a right to do that at this time in your life. You've been the older sister, the big sister. You've been the responsible one. You've been, even when you had your moments when you weren't responsible, you dropped out of school to take care of your brother. You've been there for your mom through her surgeries, through her volatile marriage. You've been there for your sister. You've been there for everyone. You've been there for your grandparents. You've called out of work to take them to doctor's appointments. You've sat in emergency rooms while you was pregnant with your daughter for other people. You've been there for everyone. At this point in your life, I want you and I implore you to be selfish. You spent so much time on this side of the spectrum of being a giver. I want you to come all the way to this other side of the spectrum and be selfish as hell. And only in doing that and going clear to the other side of the spectrum will you be able to find a median. You don't have a median. You don't know what it's like to see about yourself. And so I have taken it upon me to be about me. I wear what I want. I do what I want. I go where I want. If I don't feel like wearing a bra, I don't wear a damn bra. If I don't want to work a job that doesn't make me feel good and that sends me home mentally fucked up, I quit. If I want to do whatever I want to do. If I want to go to 3 different drive-thrus because I want the French fries from Rally's, the tacos from Del Taco, and a milkshake from Carl's Jr., then that's what the hell I do. I go see about me. I put me first. And it's a work in progress, trust me. But it's something really freeing about just saying to people, no, I'm not going there. No, I'm not doing that. My phone is on Do Not Disturb now. I don't feel like taking no damn phone calls. Matter of fact, I screen all my calls now. I don't want to be bothered. If it ain't about my daughter, I don't want to be bothered. I selectively choose what I deal with. Even on my social media, and that's a pivotal one. I feel like that should be a completely different video, so I'm not going to go into detail. But if somebody starts to try to argue with me on a post and tries to rile me up about some shit, or even tries to put some stuff on me and deflect their mess, I delete, unfollow, unfriend, block, mute this person for 30 days, hide this post, don't want to see posts from this person for 30 days. It's not worth my mental health. For what? I know that I have general anxiety disorder. I know that I'm more prone to anxious and depressive thoughts. Why the hell would I put myself in line to experience that if I don't have to? No. Absolutely not. If you are someone who thinks like me or who's ever felt like you are not good enough, who has ever felt this anxiety that I feel, where you can't even send a text message without turning it over and not looking at it and waiting, where you feel like everyone's going to hate you if you say no and see about yourself, I literally implore you to not give a shit as of today, right now. Let it go. Whether you do every little thing they want or not, they still gonna find something to be mad at you about or something not to like you for, because that's how people are. People are finicky. Humans are finicky. Humans are fleeting. They are wishy-washy. They're unreliable. Nothing on this planet is consistent and reliable but God. And if you don't believe in God and you can't lean on him, then I don't know, lean on the universe, lean on the fact that the sun rises every morning, lean on the fact that the wind is still something you can feel even though you don't see it. I don't know. But don't rely on humans, because they're the most unreliable thing on this earth. Grass grows more consistently than humans will love you. And that's just fact. That doesn't mean that humans aren't worth it, but it does mean that you have to take some stock in yourself and know when to say no. Self-care is so damn important to me now, it's a mess. I can't even tell y'all. People be like, you blocked me? Yep. Why? I didn't want to talk to you. Well, why? Because you disturbed my peace. And I'm working so hard on keeping my peace right now, I can't have any distraction or disturbances. Block, you had to go. It's very simple. I'm not even afraid anymore. So in this month, I felt like it was super important for me to make this video because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I just hope and pray that you guys get aware of your mental health. So many of us think that we're fine, especially millennials. In this generation, we are not fine. This is a generation where I don't even think the generations before us could even survive as adults having to deal with some of the shit we deal with as millennial adults. With inflation, with being overpaid and underworked, with having degrees that don't mean shit, being in debt for no reason, student loans up the ass. We can get the master's degree, the bachelor's degree, the doctorate, and there's people still out here working Postmates part-time with a whole working on degrees and they don't take you anywhere. And now you owe somebody for a degree that didn't get you nowhere and do nothing for you. I can't tell you what it's like to be a millennial adult if you are not one. There was a time in this country where you could graduate with a high school diploma, go get a trade certificate, and have a whole ass career, and retire, and buy a house, and all of that off of $45,000 a year. We can't do that no more. We can barely afford apartments. Half of us is relying on credit to pay a part of our bills because income don't count. This generation of adults probably got more mental health issues popping off than any other generation before it. Because the world has changed, because life is different, because baby boomers and Americans before us did not give a shit about us. We won't even have Social Security. So yeah, it is stressful to be a 20-something or 30-something or even late 30, early 40-something, because that's when millennials started. There's a lot of millennials just about to turn 39, 40 right now. We are tired. This generation of adulthood is stressful as hell. So I implore you to please make sure that you see about your mental health, because no one else is going to do it for you.